Are you ready to get fired up about Power Up Radio with Dr. Pat?
Hey, everybody, welcome. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on for a special edition of Power Up. I am so thrilled to be talking with all of you about a couple of topics. We've got a back-to-back lineup for you. One of them today, and these topics actually have been picked by our producers at the helm today. You're going to all get to meet probably a lot of Jamie, a little bit of Jacob. Hi to both of you. Hi, Jamie.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
So you're my producer, right?
Right.
Awesome. So let's talk karma. Destiny or duped? What goes around comes around. Is that what karma really is? Okay, I want to start with a story. So here's the story. I'm going to give you two parts to the story. I'm in a building, great studio. A lot of our hosts are going to come visit. We're building out a studio. It's really interesting and fun to do. Got this opportunity about a year ago, and I'm telling you, things just lined up. I mean, it was like, I don't know if the planets were lined up. I don't know what was I don't know about lining up. But people that watch my show and watch me in this background, they always notice my background. And what's interesting about background is they notice the things I have on the wall. I don't want to touch my camera, but they also notice what I've got behind me. And based on what I have behind me, people go to various conclusions about what I believe and what I practice. And I've even had emails from you guys saying, hey, you talked about being Catholic, but are you Buddhist now? You got like the Buddhist thing, then you got the special thing on the wall, and it's looks like that was done in Chinese or Japanese. And so here's this. Along the way to becoming me in a strange way, I've had the opportunity of understanding the good, the bad, and the bad and the ugly about my life. But let's talk about karma. When you're introduced or hear the word karma, and when you hear it from people that don't know what karma is, what you get is one of the greatest misunderstandings about karma. One of the most famous quotes, kind of like on every show, is karma is a bitch. I think I could say that, Jacob. I don't know. Well, yeah, I can't say that. But that's a quote. I need to find out who said that. I don't know who said that. I think Bruce Willis may have said that, but then I don't know. But today's show is to talk about it because we've gone through a series of events. You know, we've gone through the events of COVID-19. People have lost their lives. You know, karma and the use of karma and what it means has come back and forth. But here's the misunderstanding. When you really look into the word about karma, are you thinking it is divine retribution or punishment from God or a God? It's not. This is what's kind of cool about this. We think it is, and so then we create an entire story of a lifetime around what we think karma is or isn't. Is karma is it a verb? Is it an adverb? Does it apply to animals? What is it about? Now, if my friend and colleague, Sarah Main, were here, she would help me with the ancient, timeless Sanskrit meaning. But I don't need that today to talk to you about this. I don't believe in karma in the misunderstanding pop culture version of it. But I do believe in the in-depth, absolutely amazing, multi-layered spiritual fifth dimensional, energetic version of karma. So what is that? So here's the story. We moved out of an office building because we needed to go and expand. We live and we have this beautiful space. And so here we are in this great space and we're expanding and rugs are being put in down the hall. And right now we're squeezing a bunch of people into space. And so if I were talking with someone that would say and talk to me about karma, some people would look at the scenario of what we're doing and how we're growing, and even the fact of finding Jessica 10 years ago, OMG. And they might approach me and talk about the fact, wow, you must have lived your life previously, ... to be able to do ... So that is a version of it. And it's, most people would say that's like an inaccurate version of it. And then there are other people that would say, here we are sitting in this beautiful wing, and we have done our best to get the climate in here and the temperature in here really well. But it's really been a challenge. And so is that karma? Does karma work where it gives you opportunity and then smacks you in the face by giving you a situation? Is that karma? But what if karma and free will were not that far apart from each other? The most common misconceptions about karma is that it's like this divine retribution for something or something you did or didn't do. But here's what Rami Savan says, or better yet, Rami Savan. Karma is the result of our actions, which are determined by our desires, which we put into practice, right? So let's talk about this situation. It's really fascinating. Very excited to be in service of the public and all of you. We're really excited. We've taken everything you all have asked for in a 10-year period, and we're getting ready to show you the result of that. And I can't tell you how grateful I am for all of your input. Every day I get another comment. Yesterday, there was a beautiful comment after the show with Carrie Nail talking about, thank you so much for helping me. Thank you so much for helping me. Thank you so much for helping me. Can you feel that? But what about this thing, karma and free will? Here's the thing. So if you talk to people about the scenario and how we're trying to get the temperature something less than 85 degrees in our production room, and you really take the action within your realm to do everything that you've done, you've even helped the building owners out, monitoring things, but then you've gotten to a place where you have to ask yourself, many people would say, and maybe they're thinking, geez, Pat, what have you guys done to deserve that inferno? And for a minute your mind is going to think about that. It's like, what? And then I just slap myself, literally. I give myself a spiritual slap and I say, I didn't do anything. It has nothing to do with any of that. See, why don't we jump to guilt and shame? Maybe we could feel guilty. Oh, wait, here's what it is. Maybe the day I disobeyed my dad and walked across the street when I was 5 years old in the Bronx to go play with my sister's big boyfriends on the handball court, just trotting across that street, not supposed to go across the street. I already been spanked for it once, but here I went, maybe this is payback for that. It's not. So here's my view of karma. It's truly the meaning. Karma is about intention. If I looked at the Sanskrit, I'm going to mispronounce it. It's probably some other version of this. Sarah will have to correct me. Maybe she'll do a show with me on it. And maybe it's sankapa or sankalpa. Whatever it is, it's a different word than you are going to be punished for breathing wrongly. It's about intention. So when we think about something, and then we resolve to achieve it, and then we act, there are three possibilities. Because now we're talking the movie, The Matrix. How many people have seen the movie, The Matrix? Do you take the red pill or do you take the other pill? Take the red or the blue? If you take the red or the blue pill, if you go visit the Oracle, anybody go visit the Oracle? Right? Do you remember in The Matrix, the Oracle, you go down, you have a chat with the Oracle, the first Oracle, the first actor that played the Oracle passed away. Well, it doesn't matter. You go talk to the Oracle. And you're coming out of the talk with the Oracle. And you're given information. And you're Neo. And you're like, I don't believe it. And you're having this big conversation. But you got some information from the Oracle. Is that karma? Can you change it? Can you modify it? Oh, how about Carrie Moss, who played Neo's bestie? Her message was, you're going to meet somebody, you're going to fall in love with them, and they're going to be the one. So is that karma, or is it the following? An intention is sent. We think about it. Then we resolve to achieve it. Then we act. If you follow the matrix, just as an example, and you follow who the people were that believed and then resolved to achieve it and then acted, here's what karma says. Karma will produce joy, happiness, contributes to another's good. There are three possibilities. This is what I'm reading this from Rami. 2, it causes pain, injury, or detracts from the good of another. 3, it has a neutral effect on others, but a positive or negative effect on oneself. And when you look at that and you ask yourself, what do you believe in? Here's the answer. We experience the outcomes of our actions. And there are many repercussions, right? There are repercussions from the way we think, from the way, so let's get to the story. So here I am in this great space. I got a lot of people. What are the odds? Maybe this is karma, maybe it's not, maybe it's coincidence, but what are the odds that down the hall in the same building I'm in, I'm looking out of the window now, there's their truck, and down the hall, what are the odds of this? There is a company with a bunch of great people willing to, their names are Air Test. What are the odds I'm in a building that we're trying to get a regulation of our environment, and literally a football field or less away from me is a company called Air Test, who just happened to come over yesterday because we had an intention to correct what's ever going on here before we move into, and we build out, and we spend a lot of building out. That was what we set into motion. And then we ran into a situation. Now, what do? Do you stop? Do you not act? How do you approach that situation? Do you approach the situation with, well, there you go. You're just stuck. You're not going to be able to resolve. Sometimes you do. I've talked about how stuck I've been in many points in my life. And I now know that the karma from my life and situations where I've been stuck, it's because I have not done anything to resolve it. But yesterday was different. I got on the phone. I called Cal Mitchell and I said, let's get this resolved. Can we get experts in here to test it? Let's find out. And the Air Test people packed up their equipment from down the hall. And mind you, these folks are so busy right now because we are in the middle of a gigantic heat wave. But they came down, and they came down with their equipment, and they did whatever they do to measure it. It is so difficult to get any in the HVAC air testing facility to do anything right now because we are in a heat wave. That's the report. Better yet? Wait, not done. So let's talk about karma. Any of you watching the Olympic trials? You ever think about what happens when an Olympia prepares for years after years? They go to the Olympics and they're bumped out. Did anybody see the trials, I think, for the women's 400 meter yesterday? See the young woman that got bumped, tried to literally bump her off of the course, right? Are we going to believe that everything we do in this world is a result of some external force that is out there willing to say, you did this in this life, you get this positive thing. You did this in this other life, you get this negative thing. I don't know, Jamie, what do you think?
I'm not sure if it goes all the way back to other lives or if it's just in your day to day.
It's interesting. But karma isn't really about that, because in the pop culture version of it, it makes it very sexy to be able to say in the line of a movie, karma's a bitch. I mean, that makes the movie, right? I mean, it's like the end answer to everything in a movie that actually doesn't have a good ending, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But if you watch The Matrix, is it cause or it's effect? I love the scene. There's a scene in The Matrix when they go get the guy with the key, and there's an entire conversation on cause and effect. So we are, all of us are given a deck of cards at birth. Some of us believe it's out of our control, but the people that host shows here, they believe, a lot of folks, that we get to choose our pathway in this world. We get to choose our parents. Maybe we get to choose all of the above. But what if we're like passengers on a train in the movie The Matrix? I mean, this is so interesting. And what if the engineer's car is closed to the public? So we can't speed up and we can't speed down. We can't get off. We can't get on. There's a part of our life that is out of our control. There's no question about it. But some people might interpret karma as all of our life is like that. Here's the problem with believing in the fatalistic view of karma. Every one of us, it doesn't matter what you do or say, we have the right to choose. Nobody can take that away. You have the right to choose. I have the right to choose. I have the right to choose. Do I just let this play out and be in the steps of karma? Or do I get on the phone, realize that I've got Air Test, the company Air Test? I just want to tell everybody, if you're worried about the air in your stuff, call these people, Air Test. Okay, they're right down the hall in Montlake Terrace here. Just call them Air Test Company, AIRTEST Company CO. Because once you take that action, then Jamie, have we derailed karma? Here we go. You ready?
Yes.
You're on the train. Train's going down a track. Neo. Picked the right pill, or did he? But he picked the pill. Once he picked the pill, here's the deal. Here's the question that karma presents to us. Even though we may not, because I don't know, I'm not like 007. Probably 007 could do something with the train. We know that. But within the train environment, we have absolute control of our free will. All of us do. So even if you're given the deck of cards, which literally says you have a royal flush or you don't. You have that royal flush in your hands or you have junk. You can choose which train card you want to ride. You can choose how to interact with other passengers. You can actually take responsibility for your own personal karma if you want to believe that. Because see, in the end, despite all of that, our destiny is only partially controlled by outside forces. Now, I want to jump to another philosophy really quickly, Jamie.
Okay.
I want to talk to the philosophy of believing in, I'm just going to say God. For those of you that are listening that have other versions of God, God, universe, goddess, there's a version where you believe in a God that is disciplined, that will punish you, that you must suffer. Or you believe in a benevolent God who has already taken care of all that stuff. If anybody listens to any of the channels on Sirius, you can flip through them and you can get any version of this. Some people will listen to Joyce Meyer. Some people listen to Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen and his father, John Osteen, were kind of like the pariah. I mean, they decided we're going non-denominational Baptist. My mother followed him right down the road there. And people are like, what, John? Because the message, whether or not you believe in Christianity or you believe in a version of Christ, that's very different. And people do believe in different versions. What if there is this benevolent, life is great, life is good? According to karma, Jamie, whether you're Buddhist, Muslim, Christian, Baha'i, but Baha'i, I can do a whole show on the Baha'i faith. It doesn't matter what you are. If your way of showing up in the world from day one is not just benevolent and good, but expansive, you believe that the laws of the universe that created the universe, this is your belief. Remember what I said about karma and intention. If you believe all of this is also inside of us, then what you're creating, a version of karma that digs deeply into intention, best said by Wayne Dyer. But here we are. How do we get from thinking we have no control over our life? We have no control over the events in our lives. We have no control over how we get to from where we were to where we are. So here's the reality of it. I could have gotten in my room today. I have 4 temperatures throughout the office. I'm measuring the temperature. We're going to get help. Help's on the way. Cal's getting us help. So I could have sat here today and kind of said, I'm going to give it to you, let you do it. Or I could have got up and walked down the hall, gotten 2 pieces of paper so that I could make a few phone calls intelligently and say, let me explain exactly what's happening here. See, that's the difference. You either sit here and you just wait for stuff to happen or you do them. What do you think of that, Jamie?
I agree. You can just let it control your life, or you can take control of it.
Yep. Here's the language they use. Big language. You're going to hear this a lot here from some of our hosts. It's really interesting. To an outsider, karmic consequences of these actions that may appear obvious, right? What are they? I'm driving my Harley Davidson. It's fully chopped out. It's got like a, I don't know, like a 52-inch front end. And I'm driving through Watchung, New Jersey, where the roads are curved. And the speed limit is 25. And I am doing 45. And I hit the curve wrong. I hit a rock. I slam into the side of the wall. And somebody says, that's got to be karma. My parents say, you're just driving like a fool. Is it karma? Or just me, crazy town, doing crazy stuff because I'm a crazy young age? And there you are. So here we are. It's called right mindfulness, right concentration. We turn our attention inward and we study the content of what's going on in our minds. We have to do it like detectives, Jamie. We have to be mindful of what we think. You know, we have to be, in my case, telling you the story, I have to be mindful about the fact I'm not going to keep walking in the room and looking at the thermometer and then come back to my room and do nothing. Because if I keep doing that, that is the definition of insanity. That is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So I had that moment today. The second thing is, what could I do? See, this is the question. Our network is based on the world of possibilities. That's our network. It's based on the entire world of positive possibilities. We're always looking for positive possibilities. You know, why did we 4 years ago have the insight to say, you know, we could stay the way we are, or we have an opportunity to change all of the software, expand our network, and provide our listeners what they want for 2022. See, we could stay in the place of saying, OMG, our software is failing. Or we can get back to our vision and intention that we've had, or I've had for 18 years, Jessica and the team for 10, you guys now that have just joined us. This is the network you've joined. It's based on possibilities, but it's also based on getting your mind right, getting your concentration right, getting your energy right. And when my energy is not right, I pick up the phone and I call Mary Jane Mack, Doc Martin, our new host that's joining, anybody that I can, Jennifer Marcinelli, and I say, please clear my energy. That's not karma. That's great mindfulness, because we're on a mission. How do you change your life? I couldn't change the fact in my life, I couldn't change the fact that I was born 12 years younger than my sister, that my dad was completely cheating on my mother, that my mother couldn't handle it mentally, that my dad wouldn't let her be who she was, and ultimately she became that. I couldn't change the fact that my mom's life got too tough for her. She couldn't stay here anymore. I couldn't change the fact that she had one failed attempt at suicide and the second failed attempt, which the second attempt didn't fail. I couldn't change that. What could I change? I could change the way I think about it. I could change the way I feel about it. Did it change how I felt about my mom? Did I miss her? Was I angry at my dad for remarrying? I mean, I could go on about this story, but we get a lifetime. Did I have control at 17? Did I have control as to whether or not I'd come home one day and find all my clothes on the lawn? And my mom says, you can't live here anymore, my stepmom. Had control of that? I didn't have control of that, but I certainly had control of all the events of my behavior that led up to that. Did I have control of being arrested at 19 for something I didn't do? No, but what I had control of is what I said to the judge. So I want to leave everybody with this. Consequences, opportunities. The ball is always in our energetic court. Make karma a pathway to your best life if you believe in it. And if you don't, make your best life a pathway to unlimited possibilities. See you next time.
Are you fired up? Thank you for listening to Power Up Radio with Dr. Pat Baccili, Unleashed, Unshaken, Unstoppable. If you missed any part of this show, subscribe to the podcast on the drpatshow.com or search Power Up Radio on any of your favorite podcast platforms.